In March 2010, 41-year-old Surya Toha mysteriously vanished. She was reported missing by her husband, 63-year-old Munawar Toha. According to Munawar, on the morning of March 23rd, the couple woke up around 6:30 a.m. However, he didn't get out of bed, claiming he was feeling very ill. So ill, in fact, that he called his workplace to inform them he wouldn't be coming in that day. At around 8 a.m., Surya left the house to drop off their two sons, aged 9 and 5, at school, but she never returned. She was never seen or heard from again. Munawar told police that later that morning, he thought he heard the front door open and close a few times. He said he could hear faint voices coming from downstairs, but he assumed it was just Surya and went back to sleep. When he finally got out of bed at around 10 a.m., the house was quiet. Surya was gone. He tried calling her cell phone several times, but got no response. He called her friends, neighbors, anyone who might know where she was, but no one had seen her. No one had heard from her. Worried, Munawar went to pick up their boys from school himself and dropped them off at a neighbor's house. Then he began searching, desperately, combing the neighborhood for hours. But as the day turned to night, there was still no sign of Surya. It wasn't until 24 hours later that Munawar finally reported her missing to the police. He also told them something odd. The day before Surya vanished, someone had withdrawn $5,000 from their bank account. When police asked Munawar where the money went, he said he had no idea. It was simply gone. Initially, authorities considered the possibility that Surya had run away, maybe with a lover, but her friends and family quickly dismissed that theory. They described her as a devoted mother, someone who adored her children and would never, ever abandon them. So, what really happened to Surya Toha? Detectives began their investigation by looking at the last place she was known to have been, her children's school. The school had 5 security cameras installed, and the detectives requested all the footage from the morning Surya went missing. In the CCTV footage, Surya is seen dropping off her sons just before school began. She looks calm. She chats briefly with another parent, then heads back to her car. She seemed happy, normal. There were no signs of distress, no signs that anything was wrong. Teachers at the school told police she was supposed to return around 10 a.m. for her older son's field trip. But when investigators checked the footage around that time, she never came back. They began tracing her movements using all available traffic and neighborhood surveillance cameras. Police patrols swept through parks, wooded areas, empty lots, anywhere a car might be hidden, but they found nothing. No sign of Surya, no sign of her car, a 2001 silver Daewoo with license plate 502HUV. Eventually, the investigation circled back to Munawar. They asked him again, what did he do the day Surya disappeared? He repeated his story. He was sick in bed until mid-morning. Then he picked up the boys from school that afternoon, something which was backed up by the school's security footage. His silver Nissan pickup truck was clearly visible on camera around 12:35 p.m., and he was seen entering the school. His alibi checked out. For now, it seemed like he had nothing to do with Surya's disappearance. Later, Munawar and Surya's sister held a press conference. Munawar appeared emotional, tearful. He begged the public for help. Anyone with information was urged to come forward. Then, a week after Surya vanished, Munawar provided investigators with what he called a crucial clue, a handwritten note he said he had found among Surya's belongings. The note claimed that she had been raped by one of Munawar's co-workers, a man named Malcolm Clark. The note ended with Surya stating that she couldn't go on living anymore. Detectives quickly located and interviewed Clark. He denied everything. He said he had never even met Surya. The only connection between them was that both men worked at the same company. With no evidence linking Clark to the crime and no history of contact between him and Surya, police had no choice but to let him go. Still, something about Clark's workplace caught their attention. The warehouse where he worked sat near a body of water known as Crystal Lake, and that lake was also close to Munawar's job. Investigators decided to search the area. They drove the perimeter, scanning for tire tracks, disturbed soil, anything. That's when they found it. A section of the chain-link fence surrounding the lake had been damaged. Bushes were crushed. It looked as if, maybe, a car had driven through it and into the lake. But when did this happen? Was it connected? Investigators learned there were surveillance cameras overlooking the lake. owned by a nearby business. They immediately requested the footage. The first clue came at 9 a.m., 12 days after Sua went missing. The bushes and the fence were already damaged, so they rewound the footage, day by day, until they saw it. The fence and bushes were perfectly intact, until the morning of March 23rd, the very day Sua vanished. Then, late that night, they saw it. A silver Daewoo pulled into the parking lot. A man exited the driver's side. He calmly removed a bicycle from the trunk, set it aside, and got back into the car. Then he accelerated, driving straight through the bushes, plowing through the fence, and into the lake. The car slowly disappeared beneath the surface. The man stood there, watching, waiting. Once the vehicle was completely submerged, he retrieved his bicycle and pedaled away into the darkness. Detectives watched in stunned silence. Though the footage was dark, it was clear. The man wasn't Malcolm Clark. He was shorter, slighter, but the mystery wasn't over. Just 9 minutes later, another vehicle appeared on the same camera, a silver Nissan pickup truck. It turned into the lot, paused for a moment, then sped away. Detectives leaned in closer. In the back of the truck was a bicycle. It was all coming together. It was Munawar Toha, the man who had cried on camera, the man who asked for help, the man who lied. He had returned to the scene. To make sure the car had really sunk, police divers were immediately dispatched to Crystal Lake. It didn't take long. At the bottom of the lake, they found the silver Daewoo, license plate 502HUV. Inside the car was Surya Toha's body, wrapped in trash bags. Back at the Toha home, investigators discovered blood droplets in the kitchen. They believe this was where Munawar attacked and killed her, possibly with a metal pipe or another blunt object. He then wrapped her body, placed her in the car, and drove her to Crystal Lake. Munawar Toha was arrested outside his house as he prepared to flee the country, taking his children with him. And if you think the horror ends there, it doesn't. While in jail, Munawar hired a hitman to kill potential witnesses, but the hitman was actually an undercover cop. He had no idea. He was being watched the entire time. On October 22, 2014, Munawar Toha was convicted of the murder of his wife, Surya Toha. He was sentenced to life in prison, where he remains to this day. In July 2017, a 5-year-old girl named Mariel Cruz went out to play at a friend's house not far from where she lived. When she failed to return home, her family reported her missing. Residents and local law enforcement quickly joined forces to search for her. After hours of desperate searching, little Mariel was tragically discovered, lifeless, lying in a grassy area of the Verde Heights subdivision, San Jose del Monte, Bulacan. Her tiny body had been stuffed inside a sack with a cable wire and a bag strap tightly wrapped around her neck. What investigators found next was even more disturbing. Upon reviewing CCTV footage from the area, a chilling revelation began to unfold. On that Saturday, at exactly 2:46 in the afternoon, the camera captured Mariel walking with the elder brother of her playmate, a 13-year-old boy. The footage showed them entering an abandoned house owned by one of his relatives. Minutes passed. The teenager was then seen peeking from the house's doorway, cautiously checking if anyone was nearby, before slipping back inside. Moments later, he emerged again, this time without his t-shirt, carrying a white sack. He walked toward a vacant lot and hid the sack. Mariel's body was inside. After concealing what he had done, he returned to the abandoned house, then casually walked back home. Shockingly, on his way, he even encountered Mariel's mother and acted as if nothing had happened. The footage also showed Mariel's hesitation. She didn't seem eager to follow him. At first, he walked ahead alone, constantly glancing back to check if she was following. When he realized she wasn't, he returned and convinced her to come with him. Sadly, she agreed. The autopsy later revealed that Mariel died from asphyxiation due to strangulation with the wire. There were also signs of injury in her anal area. Following statements from both families, the 13-year-old suspect confessed to the crime. He was brought to the prosecutor's office for further investigation. After the inquest, he was turned over to the San Jose del Monte City Social Welfare and Development due to his status as a minor. However, because of the reported lack of a holding center or shelter for juvenile offenders, there's a disturbing possibility that the teenager might be sent home to his parents. No final decision had been made yet by the prosecutor regarding where he would be held. Mariel's grieving family, furious and heartbroken, publicly denounced the idea of him being released. They demanded justice. According to the teenage suspect, he committed the crime because Mariel often teased him. On the afternoon of December 14, 2023, 7-year-old Aaron Vergara asked his mother if he could briefly step outside their home in Barangay Espinosa, Calubian, Leyte, Philippines. He didn't say where he was going, but he promised her he wouldn't go far. His mother, unaware of the nightmare that was about to unfold, simply told him to take care, and off he went. Hours passed. Still, Aaron hadn't come home. His mother's worry grew. She searched the backyard. Nothing. She called Aaron's aunt to check if he might have gone there, but he wasn't there either. As the sun disappeared and darkness settled over the neighborhood, her concern turned to panic. The next day, December 15th, the Calubian Municipal Police launched a search for the missing boy. They combed through the surrounding areas, eventually reaching the mountainous region of Barangay Palid Uno. What they found was every parent's worst nightmare. Aaron's lifeless body was discovered at the top of a hill, hidden beneath layers of grass. He had been strangled to death. An autopsy confirmed the cause of death as asphyxia due to strangulation. Police immediately began reviewing surveillance footage from the area, and what they discovered on the tapes was horrifying. At exactly 2:15 p.m. on December 14th, Aaron was seen walking outside his house. He wasn't alone. He was walking alongside a man, someone known to the family. That man was identified as 27-year-old Kevin Lapu Maglasang. Kevin worked for the family, employed at their Lechon Manok roast chicken business. He also lived nearby and was trusted until now. As investigators continued piecing together CCTV footage from various angles and locations, Aaron and Kevin were seen walking farther away from the house. By 2:30 p.m., Aaron appeared again on another camera in a different barangay, this time riding a tricycle. Sitting beside him was Kevin. Alarmed, Aaron's family tracked down the tricycle driver. They asked him where he had dropped the two off. The driver said he had let them off in Barangay Tigan, and from there he saw Kevin take Aaron on a borrowed motorbike, heading toward the mountains. It would be the last time anyone saw Aaron alive. Kevin had borrowed that motorbike from his brother earlier, claiming they were just going somewhere nearby. At 4 p.m., the same day Aaron vanished, Kevin was caught once again on CCTV. This time, he was returning to the house, alone. Aaron was nowhere in sight. Later that evening, Kevin was seen leaving again, this time carrying a backpack. The next day, Kevin went to work, as if nothing had happened, but the truth was closing in. With clear video evidence showing Kevin as the last person with Aaron, the family confronted him directly. At first, Kevin denied everything. He claimed he hadn't even seen Aaron that day, but the family pushed back. They knew he was lying. Then they noticed something strange, scratches on Kevin's neck. He tried to explain them away, said he got them from tall grass near his home. No one believed him. Suspicious and scared, the family handed him over to the police. Under questioning, Kevin finally cracked. He confessed that he had taken Aaron and left him in Sitio Lead, Barangay Paliduno. Police, along with Aaron's devastated family, rushed to the area. Kevin led officers up a steep, grassy hill while the family waited near the road. Then there, beneath a patch of flattened grass, they found him, Aaron's small, fragile body, lifeless. What Kevin told police next left everyone in shock. He admitted he killed Aaron. His reason? Revenge. Kevin claimed that Aaron's mother had once mistreated his younger brother, who also worked for the family as an errand boy. According to Kevin, the younger brother had made an obscene gesture toward one of Aaron's siblings, prompting the mother to discipline him physically. Kevin was furious, and in his rage, he decided to take it out on an innocent child. He told police he invited Aaron to go search for spiders in the mountains, a common childhood activity in the Philippines. Aaron, excited and unsuspecting, even brought a makeshift spider container, a matchbox. He thought they were going to play a popular game called Gagamba, spider fighting. In this game, children place two spiders on opposite ends of a stick. The first one to fall off 3 times loses, or in some versions, the losing spider must be eaten by the winner. But there was no game that day. Instead, Kevin forced Aaron to the ground. He covered his mouth. He knelt on his stomach. Aaron struggled, but he couldn't breathe. Eventually, he stopped moving. Kevin left the boy's body there, hidden in the grass, and walked away. He returned to his employer's house, returned to work, as if nothing had ever happened. Kevin Lapu-Lapu Maglasang was arrested and charged with the brutal murder of 7-year-old Aaron Vergara, and the scars of what he did will haunt that family forever. On August 19, 2014, Lucius Robbi packed his car and set out from Horseshoe Bend, Idaho, heading for Missoula, Montana, to begin his junior year of college. But Robbi never made it. The 21-year-old California resident, who had grown up near Orleans, had just finished a summer job working as a guide for a kayaking and rafting company in Idaho. On that Tuesday afternoon, he left work with plans to camp somewhere along the way to Montana. He told his friends he would sleep in a tent for the night, then arrive at the University of Montana the next day for orientation. But no one ever saw him again. Lucius was driving a green 1997 Subaru Outback, an easy car to spot. Even more distinct were the two kayaks strapped to the roof. One was an orange Zet Raptor Creek boat, an extremely rare kayak, and the other was an orange Fluid Nemesis, which is also relatively uncommon. The kayaks were so unique that people hoped they'd be the key to finding him. But days passed, and then more. No one heard from Lucius. His friends and family knew something was wrong. It wasn't like him to miss something as important as the first day of school. Panic grew. Volunteers, friends, and law enforcement launched a search across the vast mountain wilderness of Idaho. They checked every trail, every overlook, every stretch of highway. People studied maps and called for aerial support, helicopters and planes that might catch a glimpse of those unmistakable orange kayaks. Gas station surveillance footage in Garden Valley, Idaho, seemed to offer a clue. Volunteers found footage of what looked like Lucius's green Subaru with the California license plate 6CCP540. It was last spotted in the area near Loman, Idaho. His cell phone signal had also pinged from that same area. Hope flickered. His family flew to Idaho to help with the search, clinging to the possibility that Lucius was out there, alive. Then, on August 28, 2014, 9 long days after he went missing, a privately contracted helicopter involved in the search spotted something in the trees along Highway 21. It was a kayak, bright orange. It was Robbi's. Near the kayak, deep off the edge of the road, was his Subaru. Lucius had died in a car accident. According to investigators, he was driving northbound on Highway 21 when something, perhaps a miscalculation, perhaps the weather, caused his car to veer off the road and down a 60-foot embankment. The car crashed through several large pine trees before coming to a stop. The county coroner confirmed what everyone feared. Robbi had died on impact, from blunt force trauma to the head. Tire tracks that might have led searchers to the scene had been washed away by recent rain and thunderstorms, leaving no trace, no path, no clue. Lucius Robbi's story ends in tragedy. A young life, full of promise, cut short on a quiet mountain road.